Who was the best character in Season 3 of Squid Game? Let's get into it. Right, we're going to start straight off the bat with player 456. And I think this season was a very different side to player 456 that we saw. But I'm going to have to put him in the GOAT spot. He was very different, as I said at the beginning of the season, because he was dealing with the ramifications of the loss of all of that life that he caused, basically. He was bitter. He was out for revenge on the the fake military man. And it wasn't a side to him that we've ever seen really in the show. And it was a little bit like he was not dull, but he was very dark. He was very, just wasn't eating, wasn't really sleeping. He was just sitting there and staring. But I think that ending, I really enjoyed that. And I thought like the idea of him staring out at the front man, staring to him, really playing on the fact that was the debate for the whole of Squid Game Season 2. The debate between the two of them was about human beings and whether they, have the right to, rehabilitate, like to be good again, to have a second chance, or do they deserve the punishment for what they've done? All these questions came up in Season 2, and I felt like Season 3 kind of sowed those beats as well. And it felt like, though, of course, if they were connected, Season 2 was just a whole long Season 2 and 3 together. It would have probably been better. He has to go into the GOAT status. He takes his own life in that moment. He fights tooth and nail to save the baby. And yeah, he's a really good character. When you first meet him in Season 1 to see what he ends up as, it's kind of weird when you see him, the front man, go to LA and talk to his daughter, and we hear how his daughter talks about him. What she's saying isn't not true. Like, he was a deadbeat sort of person at the beginning, Season 1, but he changed so much in that time and became a father figure to so many, so much so that he was literally the father figure to that baby, more so than that crypto bastard. But let's get into the next person. Moving over, actually, as I've just spoke about him, it's that final fight. These two were the final two remaining in the game. The crypto schmuck, the father to the baby. I want to put him there. I want to put you in the bin. Not just the bin, I want to put you in the furnace, the churner. I hate you so much. You took away player 120. You lied to the mother of a child so many times. He's manipulative. There were so many moments, though, where I thought, they're going to make him good. They're going to, he's a good person. He's just been misunderstood. But really and truly, he was a manipulative, horrible person. So much so that he would actually take his kid's life to get him the money. When you compare those two, he wasn't the dad, but he was the dad that stepped up. Player 456 was. He chose continuously pretty much to continue the games, but then he didn't. But that was a performative act. So as soon as that she was no longer there and he knew that he couldn't, use her, he wanted to use her to get the money from her, wanted to get her shares. And as soon as she was gone, he goes and presses blue again because he no longer have to be this performative person that, he could be his true self because he's not trying to act up for someone. In a writing sense, they wrote him very well and he was probably a decent character. My opinion of him as a character, I want him to be put in the furnace, which he kind of probably was when he was chucked over the edge. But I didn't really like that scene either because it was so obvious what was going to happen. Like, there was no way that he was going to beat player 456. But I'm glad he got his comeuppance. Moving over to the detective, the brother of the front man. And I'm going to be honest here, guys. It'd be better without him. It'd be better without him, man. It just would. It's annoying that I've said that, but it's true at the same time. That whole story never got anywhere. Season 2 and 3. A massive chunk of it was following them on that boat. Where did it get to? It got us 5-minute sequence where he at least sees his brother. I guess it gives like some link that the baby that he got sent to was from his brother, but like, what the flipping hell? Like, why has he got the baby? Why is the baby now his? He has no reason to have that baby. He has no reason. It just would have been better without you, man. And it's a shame because that is such a brilliant thread to pull. Of course we want to explore the front man's brother coming back to the island after realizing that his brother was running the whole thing. But no, we spent literally, 13, 12, 11 episodes of him just trying to get there. Of course, it's because the captain of the boat was sending him on his merry way. But, speaking of, let's just move all of these into better without. That whole arc, I could do without it. I did enjoy the fact that he was an inside man and like he was working for the front man and he was going to take them all out. It just didn't work. It did work. It didn't work when you take me out of the game and take me over here. Like in Season 1, it worked because he was on the complex. He was in the place. He was on the island. So when we cut away from the games, it was him like working his way around, finding out that they were selling organs and things like that. Oh, we were learning. So now he's just on this boat trying to like take 20 minutes, 2 years to find it, 5 years to find it. Like, I don't know, man. And then the ending where he like takes the money and he's like completely fine with it. Like he doesn't really show any, he's more like, oh my, I got all this money. You're ex-police detective, mate. You should be like, okay, this is more evidence. I've got more evidence, guys. See this baby, see these garms that she's got on? Yeah. This is all to do with the island that I was on about for all those years. I wasn't lied to. I wasn't making anything up. I wasn't lying to you. Do you know what I mean? As we've got that conversation done, I will just finish off that sort of arc. So I'll move him into decent, actually, out of all of them, because I did enjoy the fact that he clocked on and went above and beyond to try and find the truth. And then I enjoyed the sequence where he was in the police station and like ran to make sure he got the message to the detective. Let's go over to the next arc that was explored in this season. Of course, it was the worker that was the number 11, the player 246, who she knew that had the terminally ill daughter. I'm going to put you in decent. She was decent. The North Korean girl who was the worker, I really enjoyed the twist that she was in fact a worker and not a contestant. That was really exciting to think we've got an eye on the inside, but it just didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for me. Again, it felt like an unnecessary cutaway. Of course, in a story, you're going to have an A, B, and C story. Maybe an A and just a B story. And I think that's all it needed, an A and a B. I think there was a lot to go into with this story. Maybe we could have cut out the... Of course, you're going to keep the detective in it. Actually, you know what? The detective should have just been dead. He should have just been no longer. That should have been the end of his character there. And that chunk of time that we were spending constantly watching him in season 2 and 3. We should have been seeing more about the front man. Felt like season 3, we saw none of him. But this story arc of hers was decent enough for me to say, put her in decent. I didn't care when she was going over to the other like manager of the game. Like, this person here, like, better without you. Like, I didn't need to see you ever. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know if I'm on my own there. Again, I've got, of course, humanity being the main theme of Squid Game. I enjoyed the human theme of like the humanity of her trying to save him because she knows that he's got the terminally ill kid that has no mother, and you know that's got to draw on your empathy. No matter how horrible or lovely you are, that's going to really, it should really affect your empathy. I will put him in decent as well. It definitely wasn't better without them, is my point. I will say, you know what, the daughter, what I'm talking about, the empathy, whenever she was on the screen, like season 2 especially as well, when she came in and they had to put all their costume heads back on and she was happy at the end, like that was a nice thread. Do you know what I mean? It was a lot of people saying there was no happy ending, of course, because our GOAT player 456 was no more, but that was a happy ending to some degree. And you know, she obviously got the help she needed and survived. I think now that we put someone into I love them, we've got to put some of the more people that I would also agree that I love them. Actually, you know what? Looking at this list, I don't know how many more are going in there, but one person that definitely is player 120. You know what? No, you're a GOAT. They're a GOAT. They're a GOAT, man. I swear that episode 2 absolutely ruined me. I really think that was an incredible episode. You saw her in the best light possible, especially with the arc that she went through on season 2, where, you know, she spoke about how she was kicked out of the military for, you know, coming out and being trans. And then at the end of that season, you know, leading the team on that journey to fight the fight. This is her, like, unreal that she was a GOAT. She was the greatest of all time. No hide and seek game has seen a better player than that. Defending 2 people while taking on 3 other people when she did that. She opens the door, man. She opens the door, and that's the whole point of this series, man. About human beings and our morality and what we're like. She was one of the good ones, and some. Do you know what I mean? Like anyone else, which we saw with some disgusting players, they would have gone. They would have kicked out someone else before, just for the fun of it. All right, let's talk about the front man. The front man, I think, as I said, I need to fill in that I love them role. I do really like this character. I think everyone will. He's not a GOAT, but I really enjoyed how he was involved in the games in season 2, but more specifically season 3. I would have loved it if they showed more of him. And that's where I think that maybe they hinted at the end of season 3 that they might do some more with him within the spin-offs. And they kind of showed a hint that he has that moral compass playing a part now in his mind, potentially from player 456's sacrifice. I really, I can't explain to you, I wish we saw more. or they do some sort of spin, or I don't know. I would love to see more of his backstory, his way of becoming the front man. Of course, we saw it. You know, the old player, the old front man takes him aside, like he did to player 456, offers him the knife to take out the people before the day, using the exact same terminology, giving him the exact same offer that was offered to him in the same way. It's referring to them as trash, this, that, and the other. Player 456, though, has too much of a moral compass not to do that. And that enlightened him, showed him like there was a different side, a different way maybe. But it was interesting just to see that he went down that path. All right, we've got a player here. I don't know who this is. So what I'm going to take this character, I'm moving my cursor over them. This person is all of the men at the end, other than player 100. This player here is all of the players at the end, put them in the bin. And let's grab player 100 and put him in the bin as well. Nasty, nasty people. But they did this for a reason. I feel the same thing. I wasn't as invested into the finale of it because all of my favorite people were gone. But the reason he did that, the writer, the reason the director, like the reason this has been done is so that it plays on that humanity thing tenfold even more. We've got the worst of the worst against player 456 and the epitome of innocence and hope and new beginnings, and you know, all of the good in the world is like a newborn baby. You know, they've never done anything wrong. They've just started. They've just existed. They haven't had time to do anything wrong. Compared to these people that were disgusting, like selfish, non-empathetic men, just like get rid of the baby, or were willing to walk over as like a group and a gang, like to threaten the baby before the workers stepped in and said there's no more tolerance for harming other contestants. I just think what they could have done in that moment. Again, showing the depth and disgust of where humanity can get to. Player 100 more specifically, as I said, we saw him fully fledged out as the selfish prick that he is. I don't put them in better without, because they are needed characters within the show, of course, but put them in the bin. I want them in the bin. Like, just pushing him off wasn't enough. I wanted to see him get his proper comeuppance. He was the ringleader for the people continuously deciding to continue the game. Just a big schmuck. Big schmuck. I think let's go to another bet without, and it is you. I think his name was Minsu. I do apologize if I got it wrong. You can kind of tell how I'm referring to them. I don't remember all of the names, unfortunately. But he, of course, had a potential arc to go on in this season. And it was dreadful. He was the most annoying character to come back to every time. Yes, he had a great sequence in the jump rope. I enjoyed that. He got his moment. But other than that, it felt like the writer, like they had him in the show, and they were like, probably should have got rid of him a while ago. Probably should have got rid of him a while ago. He just felt very in the fact that there was like this circle of people, and they had the dickheads outside of it, and he just felt like he felt like Pluto, you know, in the solar. He's not a planet. Is he a star? I don't know what he is. I don't know space like that, but he's Pluto. He's like, why are you here, mate? You're not a planet no more. As we just spoke about Minsu and his arc in this season, we've got to move over to his arch nemesis. I hated this character in season 2. I still disliked him. He was definitely a better character this season, and I would put him in decent. I enjoyed his comeuppance. I enjoyed the fact that there was like a subtle conversation about just addiction as a whole. And to be fair, addiction is probably how some people have got into Squid Game, like gambling addictions, and gone down this path. I didn't like him as a character, but he was meant to be annoying. And I think I preferred him in this season, definitely to season 2. Of course, that's because the arc was there. He wasn't just Thanos' little side piece. He was a bit more of a fully fledged character to some degree. Obviously very dependent on the pills that he was taking. I want to end on a positive note, so I'm going to quickly get rid of 2 more that I think need to be put in the bin. Can you predict who I'm going to put there? First off, it's the hippie woman. I'm putting you last. The most irrelevant. See what I said about Minsu? Times 10. So irrelevant. Everything about this character could have been gone from like episode 2 of season 2. Like, so irrelevant. She had one little moment where she's like supposed to be this mystical person. She's trusting the gods and all this thing. But then she plays the game and can't do the kick-ups or whatever she had to do. She can't do the spinning top, sorry. That should have been the end we saw of her. But she just kept on going on and on and on. And then she got this following. Very few redeeming qualities I can give her. But I guess that's the point of her. Same way Player 100 is irredeemable. You know, they're supposed to be characters that are very differently irredeemable, but still bad to show humanity has all these ups and downs, troughs and dips and whatever. She's one of them. And the final, put them in the bin, I'm probably going to do, is the VIPs. I'm putting them at the rock bottom. There's nothing further down than those VIPs. I genuinely have no idea why they were that bad. That's not true. I do have some sort of theory. I come to this conclusion that the writers are too good. He's too good to be that lackluster in his decision to put them into the show. So I think it's to make them out to be annoying. They're supposed to be annoying. They're supposed to be like artificial. They're supposed to be fake. They're supposed to be grinding. You know, it's like it's like eating like sour sweets. Like they're really disgusting. They're supposed to be, because they represent the most different people in the world. You know, the elite of the elite of the elite, the top 0.0011111%. Do you know what I mean? That's not to say that like they're all like that, but I think they try to make them feel so out there and different and horrible. Or maybe I'm just clutching at straws. Either way, put them in the bin. Never want to see them again. Never want to hear them again. That's the main thing. Let's move on to the fake military man. It's a shame, you know, but it would have been better without him. I know what they did here, and I think I said this in my review. I think if you haven't seen that video, make sure you check it out. I think where he falls short is the fact that it is season 2 split in half is what season 3 is. I hadn't watched that for 6 months, so it felt like where he was, I understood where he was at, but he never got a redeeming moment. He didn't need to, but it never felt like he had. It was like it was chalk and cheese. I really liked him in season 2, and I felt bad for him at the end. Of course, we find out that it wasn't PTSD or anything like that. He just lied to us, and he did it to fit in, which kind of makes you, if you watch season 2 back, probably look at him in a very different light, because that's like a big part of his character. It was disappointing because I did like his character, and he was just a tool for player 456 for his morality to kind of shift. Speaking of characters that didn't make it out of episode 2, it is the son. That sequence will go down as probably the most horrific. It's the most horrific episode of, like, it's incredible. That episode made me feel so many different things, and this moment I did not expect. I didn't love him in season 2 either, but I felt really bad for him here because I saw myself in him. I've said this many a times. If I had to kill my own animals to eat, I'll become a vegetarian. I can't do it. That sequence was so tough because I can hear every side of I can hear why he's going to be like, I'm not going to kill my mum. I'll kill this person that I've only met last week. Yeah, but then she's a new mother. Ah, man, it's horrid. And he pushes his mum aside. Anyway, we'll get to that in a second. I want to go decent. Probably second in decent. He's just a decent character. Finally, we've got the final 2. Now, if you saw my season 2 tier list, you know that I love one of these. It is indeed the elderly mother. I'm sorry, the GOAT, the best character in the whole show ever. I'm sorry. If you disagree with that, you're actually wrong. Like, I actually put my foot down. She especially, even without that, I would have put her there. But she's the one who changed player 456's perspective. She was the one who gave him that talk. She was literally a mother to everyone in there. The same way that he was kind of like a father figure to so many. She was the mother to so many. She looks out for the trans woman, even though she doesn't understand her in season 2. But then she comes to love her. Then she helps out the new mother in season 2, but more specifically season 3, helping give birth to the child, as well as looking after the baby, giving her tips or whatever. A lot of people have questioned, like, why would she unalive her son over a stranger she met a week ago? But I fully understood it. I don't know why, but I fully understood it. And it was so heartbreaking because that inevitably killed her. She obviously took her own life in that moment, because the day after, because she couldn't deal with that. And she actually pleaded with everyone to stop the game. Like, she was begging, like, and in that moment, surely you would. Like, the newborn baby, man. It was so horrid. Because I really did love her. Like, I genuinely just wanted to give her a hug, man. And then obviously she takes her life. But I think that is symbolic, not just of her dealing with the loss of her son, but dealing with the realization that they continued the game. I think she lost all hope in humanity. Do you know what I mean? Like, she lost all hope in that moment. It's like, I've lost my son. That was my life. And they can't even put their greed aside for a newborn baby, which again is the epitome of new beginnings, hope, innocence, etc. She will always be and forever will be the GOAT. No one can ever question that she is the best character in Squid Game. And finally, we've got the new mother, player 222. In season 2, I didn't necessarily care as much about her, but in this season, I love her. She was fantastic. And then her, as I said in a previous video, choosing to take her own life, have autonomy over that. You know, she took the message from the elderly mother. She took the message from player 456 to put the baby's life above hers at all costs. You know, that is your be all and end all. It was a shame that she went out in that way, though. The sprained ankle. It makes you think that, like, I don't think about, like, the ramifications of a game before will have an effect on a future game. Like, for example, the fake military man, if he was in this jump rope game, he would have struggled because he got stabbed in the leg. Do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't, I don't think about those things. But yeah, that is my definitive season 3 Squid Game tier list. That's the final one I'm going to ever have to do until they go into the spin-offs, which I'm sure I'll be doing videos on as well. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Who was your GOAT? I've been Floppyleggs, and I'll see ya when I see ya.